And like Linda said, it's been a busy week. Started out Wednesday, where, Linnea?
Oh, it was
Paradise.
Paradise.
Yeah,
the Paradise
our
Den.
hometown. Yeah, I'm actually from Magalia, just up the hill from Paradise. Paradise, Siskiyou County,
Siskiyou, the
Oroville.
well, no, there's the Chavez King Democratic
Yeah, in Oroville.
in Oroville, yeah.
And Lassen County today. And tomorrow, League of Women Voters in Chico.
Yes.
And then I get a day off.
No, we have laundry to do.
You gotta go home.
We have a ton of laundry. So, I want to thank you all for having me up here, Linda and Susan, everybody for being so kind and inviting me here. So a little bit about me. I'm pretty much a local yokel. I grew up in District 1. Grew up in Paradise, actually. Moved out here from Missouri when I was 8 years old. Graduated from Paradise High. Went on to attend the University of California, Berkeley. Got a degree in psychology there. Later went on to get a master's degree in public administration from CSU Chico. And, yay, Chico. So, I kind of took an alternate career path from a lot of folks who end up in politics. I've been a social worker all my life. I have worked primarily with children, emotionally disturbed children early on in my career. I've worked with Child Protective Services since 2002, initially in Glenn County, and for the past 11 years in Butte County. So I have no training in typically, I do see a lot of lawyers. I don't do the lawyer thing. So at any rate, as I said, I've grown up here in the North State, married to Linnea. I have a soon to be 25-year-old daughter from my previous marriage. She will be attending Humboldt State in the fall to become a social worker. I warned her, but she did it. When I married Linnea, I gained 2 stepsons. My oldest stepson has been in Afghanistan for 2 tours as a ranger. My younger stepson has worked at the Boys and Girls Club for 2-3 years now up in Paradise. And I have 3 grandchildren from the oldest. So, some of you may remember we had an election. That was a fun evening. And you know, from that night and the days and nights that have kind of come after, I came to realize something. And perhaps some of you realize the same thing. I could no longer stand by and watch. I could no longer stand by and watch as my country veered down a course that was unacceptable to me, our children, our grandchildren, or for any country that would call itself free. I could no longer stand by and watch as the rich in our country profited from a rigged economy, while the poor struggled every day to put food on the table and keep a roof over their head. I could no longer stand by and watch while our children, our most precious resource, if they wanted to attend college, they had to mortgage their future in student loans. That's not right. And I could no longer stand by and watch as our legislature in Washington would consider healthcare legislation that would allow the sick to remain sick, while those in Washington worried. not about the people, but about their true constituents, the big insurance companies. So I can no longer stand by and watch. And that is why I'm running for office. And on November 7th of 2018, I look forward to being your congressman from District 1 in the United States House of Representatives. You know, as I've spoken to people about my decision to run for office, I've received usually a couple of different responses. One is, hey, that's awesome, good, I'm glad to hear that. And the other is more like, you must be out of your mind. And I think the latter response, usually what that comes from is the way our country kind of is today. The political atmosphere is so toxic, and our country seems so divided. And perhaps I'm naive, but I do believe that there are many issues on which all people can agree. I believe that all people, whether Democrat or Republican, want to be able for their family to have a decent wage that allows them to escape the strain and strife of poverty. I believe that all people, whether Democrat or Republican, want to be able to access decent, affordable health care so that they don't have to worry about their family when somebody becomes ill. They don't have to make the choice between paying the rent and going to the doctor. I believe that all people, whether Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. They want their children to have opportunities that were denied to them. All parents, all people, want their children to have a better life than they did. So, fair enough. Flowery language, it all sounds good. But how do we get there from here? After I'm elected, I will do 3 things in my first 100 days in office. I promise. And they'll be great things. The best trip you've ever seen.
Will we be great again?
Hopefully. Okay, you're making me laugh. So, where was that?
The first
yeah, that first 100 days.
First thing.
So, the first thing I will do after I come in, right after being sworn in, is I will become a co-sponsor for House Resolution 676. House Resolution 676 was filed on January 24th of 2017 by John Conyers from Michigan. It's called the Extended and Improved Medicare for All Act. I believe that Medicare for All is what this country needs to deal with the healthcare issues.
Congress?
I think so,
Yeah.
because it is a good healthcare plan. It's probably as good as what they have now. Why shouldn't we all have that?
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So, as I was saying, Medicare for all. I do not know why it has taken us this long to get here. Actually, I do, but we don't have time to go into it. But you know, I have been doing research on this, and it's interesting. Almost 50% of our friends on the right support Medicare for all. 70% of Democrats and other folks on the left support Medicare for all. Sometimes the people have to lead our representatives to where we want to go. Sometimes we have to tell them where we want to go, because they're not going to go there on their own, they're afraid. We have to let them know. This is where the people want to go. People want to have health care. I always say, you know what, you get insurance for your car, but you need health care for your body. You only get one body. You can replace your car if you get a fender bender. Not so easy with your body. Secondly, I would submit a bill to the House of Representatives called the Renew America Act to address the woeful state of infrastructure in our country. The Renew America Act would allot $750 billion to rebuild dams. Down where I live, Oroville Dam, that is going on. Roads, airports, etc. However, we need to think outside of the typical bricks and mortar projects. Broadband internet
Yes, yes.
is huge. Our rural communities are automatically at a disadvantage when they do not have broadband internet. On my way up here, my phone lost service. I'm like, oh no! I can't see what's going on Facebook. So, right?
Right?
Yeah, I know, I was jonesing.
I told you
So-
to take a deep breath.
Broadband internet. You know, I make fun, but in this county, in every county I go to, Plumas, Siskiyou, rural counties are struggling with this. And it places them, as I said, at an economic disadvantage. There are many, many types of businesses that could be run out of the home in rural areas. But when you don't have broadband internet, you can't do it. You can't do it. If any of you are old enough to be familiar with the rural electrification project that FDR did in 1936, this would be very much the same. At that time, our good friends the Republicans who had been in office allowed the electric companies to not supply electricity to rural areas because it cost too much. FDR said no. And he did that and supplied electricity to the United States of America, all of it, so everybody could live in the 20th century. That is what this act will do. We will bring the 21st century to all of America. In fact, a full 1/3 of the allotment would be for rural counties of 100,000 people or less. Finally, during that first 100 days, I would pass another bill called the United States Affordable Education Act.
Yes.
As I stated, my daughter's going to Humboldt State. And she's almost 25. She's entering as a freshman. She has been really concerned about entering school. And she has been saving money for 7 years because she refuses to take out student loans. She has had to wait for 7 years. That's not right. That's not right. My bill would look at what student fees were in 1980. I went to school, I started Cal in 1979. One of the best schools in the world, in my opinion. $700 a semester in 1979.
It's only 35 when I went to.
Really?
What about Zella Mae? How much was it when you went there?
Pardon me?
How much was it when Zella Mae went there?
20.
$3.
But $700, right? Not bad. Chico State at the time at 79, $110. Chico State now is $3,500 a semester. Cal is $7,000 if you're a California resident. Cal is actually a good deal compared to Chico State. It's only gone up times 10, or 7, excuse me. CSU has gone up times 35. Under my bill, the United States Affordable Education Act, as I stated, we would look at what fees and tuition were in 1980 when we put a lot more emphasis on affordable education. And we would then adjust for inflation. CSU Chico, currently $3,500, would go down to $325 a semester. Cal would go down to $2,000 from $7,000. It's not the same as Senator Sanders. He's advocating for free. However, this is affordable for America's middle class. $325 a semester is affordable. And we can put the student loan business that Betsy DeVos is involved in, put them out of business. They're done. There is no reason why people should have to take out thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in student loans. That's not right.
It's about draining what's left of the middle class.
I agree. I agree. You know, when I was younger, it was a few years back, there was a different mindset at that time. My parents and my grandparents, they wanted to see future generations succeed. And something happened, and a lot of it is my generation, and I'm sorry to say that. They wanted to give themselves tax breaks, starting about in 1980. Well, those tax breaks, you got to pay for them somehow. And before you know it, folks like these two young men here, they've got to pay for it. Well, not if I have anything to say about it. It needs to go back the way it should be, where we help out the young people, the more vulnerable, as they move forward in the world and find their way. So, you know what's interesting? Kind of getting off script here. On the drive up here, I was thinking about my grandmother. You guys, you got a minute? Okay. Something about my grandmother. And we used to go over to her house. We didn't have after school back then, you know. My after school was grandma's house. And I was sitting on the couch with her in the afternoon. She was watching The Guiding Light. And this commercial came on for Hubert Humphrey. It must have been like 1968. And I was talking to her and she went, shh. Okay, you know. And I said, what's the big deal, Grandma? She said, we're Democrats. Maybe be quiet. I was like, okay. Never seen her react that way. But then a few minutes later, after I was done with my bologna sandwich, I said, you know, Mr. Inquisitive, why are we Democrats? And she just kind of laughed, and she said, you know, Danny, I used to be a Denny back when I was a little kid. Danny, Democrats are for the people, and they do big things. And she knew. She was born in the 1890s. She saw the Democrats lead us through World War I, through the Great Depression, and she always blamed on the rich Republicans. Through the Great Depression, she was actually born in North Texas and had to leave the panhandle of Oklahoma. She lived right outside of Sapulpa, Oklahoma. Got her farm bought out by a corporate farmer, much like Oklahoma. Saw Democrats lead us through the Great Depression, through World War II, through the difficult decision to drop an atom bomb to end that war. She saw another Democratic president lead us into a war against poverty. She saw a young president, a Democrat, dream of going to the moon. 2 years before she died, that happened. She got to see that. Democrats are for the people, or they should be, and if they aren't, they should leave the party. And Democrats do big things for this country. The best our friends on the right can do is cut taxes. But we look to do big things for our people, and we will continue to do big things for our people. I ask for your support. I'm going to Congress, and I'm going to do things for the people of the North State, for the people of the United States. And we're going to do big things together. Thank you.